Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Real Prosperity Project. My name is Tanisha Tearing, and this is my beautiful co-host, Joelle Gilmour. She is coming live to you from Calgary, Alberta. She is not our usual Charlene, but man, am I so blessed to have her here today. I'm just so grateful to have her here and take the time out to talk with us. Her and I have some amazing things to bring to you today about alignment, peace, love, how you can make impact in your community. And as always, the Real Prosperity Project, we are here to talk about all areas of life. Prosperity, all our wins, all our losses, things we struggle with, things we combat those struggles with, and how we find prosperity and the positive, even though something may be going wrong, so that we can impact you, so that you can go out and impact your community and have that positive effect on others. So thank you so much, Joelle, for being here. And I can't wait to have our listeners hear this.
Yeah, well, Tanisha, I'm so excited when you asked me to be on. I've been thinking about it all week. Been, super ecstatic just to spend a little time with you and your guests, and talk about the things that are really important and what's really driving, our lives, our business. And I know that you and I are really on the same page with that. So I can't
Yeah.
wait to have some conversation about it.
Yes, this is going to be an epic episode. And as always, for those of you that are listening, please subscribe and follow to support our channel so that we can continue being here for you. And we really appreciate you listening. So thank you so much. So, Joelle, we we've been talking a lot about how we need to approach things differently if we want to be the change. If we want to see change, we have to be the change. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing in your life, both professionally and personally, to create that for yourself.
Well, here's what I know, Tanisha. I think that a lot of my effort and energy potentially over my years have been externally focused. Either looking at how I can affect things externally or external validation. And what I've discovered is that neither of those actually work. The power of change, self awareness, which I think is one of the biggest tools that we need as individuals to actually take an inventory and see where we're coming from and how we can affect things maybe on a micro level, even within ourselves. But what I do know, Tanisha, is that when I start to change myself, when I have awarenesses and I'm working with, say, maybe pain, maybe traumas, maybe situations that I'm telling stories about in my life, when I work on shifting that and having self awareness with it, loving myself, forgiving myself for it, when I start to respond differently to my environment responds differently to me.
Mm, yes. That sounds a lot like stuff we've talked about before on here, where we talk about what you think about, you bring about, right? You attract what you're being in the moment. And so if you're being uh, in pain because you are dealing with something that's bubbled up, then you're going to attract more of it if you don't course correct and say, yes, this is painful. I need to feel it, but I also need to find my power in that moment.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. And so
Yeah.
looking at that can be, I guess, daunting in a lot of ways, right?
Hmm.
To go back through and sort through some of the things that we've experienced and lived through and whatever. But really, what I've come to know this year is that everything that I've gone through has led me to the place that I am now. It's built me
Hmm.
as an individual, the character, and business and personal isn't separate. It's the same thing. I want to be the best version of myself in my personal life, in my professional life. And so that's what I've been really focused on this last year specifically, Tanisha.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so, just those of you that don't know and that are, fresh to listening, Joelle and I are both in the same industry, in the same company. And we are both taking an approach in our business life where we're bringing what we're bringing here to the table into that business life, because we firmly, firmly believe that when we approach things differently and we create a specific environment, that it's going to be conducive to everybody growing and succeeding rather than just one or two people winning and succeeding. We want to help everyone um, to have the success that is defined by them, right? Because everybody's definition of that is different and everybody has different goals and different aspirations. But if we don't leave room for their growth and their success and help them, then we're not succeeding ourselves either, I don't think.
I
Yeah.
fully agree with that.
Yeah.
And here's the part. That's what makes things beautiful, really, is everyone's unique goals and dreams, their style, their beingness, and I think there's a place actually for everyone within that. And too often we're kind of put into a box about what does success look like for you, and what
Mm-hmm.
is making money isn't the only thing that shows you that you're having a successful life. Yeah, it helps. It gives you maybe different choices, maybe more freedom of choice. But if you don't have any other balance in your life, with your relationships, with all the other things that you're doing, I mean, that's where the peace and the prosperity actually comes in. It's the richness of your day to day living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That richness is so powerful because that is what defines our success. Exactly. Like, I love that you just said that, because it isn't about a specific type or a box that we fit in, like you said. It is what is rich and what is peaceful to us, right? Whatever creates that is where we need to follow. And that is where we're going to talk about that here in a second. But listening to the book that I've talked about in a past episode, A Secret to Attracting Money by Joe Vitale, he says, you have to be passionate about what you're doing. And whatever you're passionate about, if you follow that, you will be successful. It may not mean millions of dollars to you, but you're going to be successful in following your passion and feeling fulfilled in your day to day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And what a better life that
Joelle
is.
and I, what's that?
What a better life that is when you're feeling
So much better.
passionate and fulfilled, and you're waking up feeling good about where you're going that day.
Yeah. And if you are dragging your butt, getting out of bed, going, "Oh, this is how I felt in healthcare." Okay. And I'm just using my personal experience, but healthcare was draining emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I went there to help people. I went there to put a smile on someone's face while they're in their end of life care. And I succeeded in that. I did tell jokes, corny jokes, and by giving them baths and washing their hair, they felt better. They did. But watching them get set in front of a TV and the family dwindling to come, they just stopped coming after a little while, and watching that life force drain, it was very wearing. And I started to get resentful for my job. I started to go, I can't get out of bed today. I don't want to. I'm going to call in sick. That is no life. That
No,
is not life.
no,
And people would
not at
have
all.
said that's a successful career. You're working 16-hour days, you're making crap ton of money, you have full benefits, pension plan. That's that box.
Yeah,
That
that's the
wasn't
box.
success. That was
No,
pain.
yeah, that's pain. What I find interesting when we sit down with people, I think your experience is probably similar, but you can speak to that. But in my situation, when I sit down to offer, our clients some solutions for what they're going through right now, a lot of times they're not dreaming. They don't have the perception anymore or the imagination to bring that into beingness. The
Hmm.
happiness factor isn't there, um, because they're working towards doing the right or what they think are the right things for them and their family, but in essence they're just going through the motions. And,
Yeah.
part of my impact that I want to have, Tanisha, is that I want to offer that again for people to have the space to, be heard, of course, but to start dreaming again
Hmm.
and to move some of that stress out of the way so that we're able to make different choices. So we're better parents. So we're better individuals. We're better husbands, wives, spouses, partners, right? And
Yeah.
I think that that's actually what's going to make the difference in the
Hmm.
world.
It's helping
I
people
don't know.
dream again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so impactful and and beautiful, and really that kind of comes down to what we're going to lead into, which I'm really grateful that we chose this subject, is talking about how we can affect energy with our energy. So when Joelle and I come to sit down with families and help them through those things that they're going through financially, and we can create that hope and that dreaming, that space, that safe space for that comes down to what we're bringing to the table too, right? And that leads into Ono. Okay.
Hmm.
This is an amazing practice, and I'm just going to read to you a little bit about it, and then that way it'll lead into Joelle and I being able to converse about it. So, Ono is an ancient Hawaiian practice of forgiveness and reconciliation, meaning to make things right or correct. So it's a mantra, okay? And it's 4 phrases. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So I'm sorry acknowledges the presence of any negative imprints that you are in your subconscious, okay, that may have contributed to a certain situation. Please forgive me asks for forgiveness for your awareness of the imprints and your role in attracting the situation, okay, because you're attracting, we just said that, what you think about you bring about. Thank you expresses gratitude for the opportunity to heal and release the imprints. And then I love you restores harmony and the divine connection, expressing appreciation for life itself.
I love it. And I brought my special uh, Hawaii pen just because it
I love
reminds me
it.
of this. And so, how has this impacted you in your life, Tanisha?
So Ono has really made a huge impact in my personal, professional, and romantic life, because I'll just use my husband and I for an example.
Sure.
So we have feelings as human beings. We have moments where we're getting anxious or angry or resentful or whatever feelings those are. Okay. When we take 100% full responsibility for our part in an argument, who knows what it's about? Okay. I have found myself in those moments where I'm starting to get that feeling like, oh, I want to fight back, I'm bringing that to the table. So if I say in my head or out loud, and I've said it out loud, I'm sorry, I'm taking 100% ownership for my portion. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm doing exactly that. I'm releasing that imprint. I'm taking full responsibility for my actions in that moment or my thoughts or whatever it may be. And if I say it in my head and I can feel my shoulders go from like up here to just, it's like taking a breath. And all of a sudden, the whole situation diffuses. Doesn't matter what my husband was upset about. It could be somebody cutting him off in traffic, and I'm just sitting next to him, and he's mad because he got cut off. But because I'm in my heart saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, I can watch his demeanor change. We can bring that effect to our communities, to our schools, to our churches, to our businesses, to whatever, by taking that
I
responsibility.
and that's why it's so powerful. why it's so absolutely powerful, and that we are powerful,
Mm-hmm.
and we do have the ability to diffuse, to to stop something from going ahead into a space that it doesn't need to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And that ownership and 100% responsibility is really, I think it's the secret sauce, to tell you the truth. Like, I really,
Yes,
really
it
do.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So practicing that, and I mean, I know on my end, it's not perfect. It's a imperfect practice that I engage, and sometimes I go too far, and then I'm like, okay, let's go back to that, take a breath, go through the steps in the process. And here's the thing: not only does it diffuse the situation, it makes me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Typically it makes the other person feel better,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's really a win-win in the grand
It
scheme of
is.
things. The
Yeah.
onus is on us, because really, and this is going to be a bold statement, there isn't anything that can make you feel a certain way and react. It's not the external influence, it's how inevitably we deal with what's coming at us. So, that a couple years ago, I was like, really, really, is that? And I consider myself to be a pretty compassionate person, but it's like, the fact that, somebody's saying something like that, it felt insulting. And
Mm.
in actuality, it's not.
No.
I don't have to respond to any of it. I can come from a higher level. I can come from
Mm-hmm.
love. And I think that, I heard a comedian recently, and I think we had this little bit of discussion last week, and he's a great comedian, but he said, hate is never going to change hate.
No.
So, at the risk of sounding, too fluffy, I mean, it is really a love. Why don't we try that? Why don't we try 100% responsibility? Why don't we
Yeah.
try having self-respect and love for one another, and forgiveness? I mean, and it's a beautiful practice, and really doing this it's changed my life, and I would
Mm-hmm.
say it's changed my relationships, in ways I never thought possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with me. It's changing everything. I see the world differently. I don't know if you're experiencing that, but I have someone, I'll call them and I'll just ask them how they're doing. And they just start unloading all the negative things. And I have the ability with approaching it from love to change their entire demeanor, and not by, like, it's totally by accident, but I just say, well, why don't you look at that a little differently? Like, yes, it's awful that you have to do all of this work to get this mortgage and you're exhausted and whatever, but this is a good thing, because this person is being thorough for you, this mortgage broker, for example, right? They're being thorough for you to make sure that you get what you deserve and get the lowest interest rate possible. And you're getting into your dream home,
Mhm.
and then they're like, "Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. I should look at it that way." And then they're like, "Well, what if this goes wrong? And what if that goes wrong?" And I say, "Well, why don't you what if up?
Yeah,
What if this goes right? What if everything aligns and you get your dream home, and you have more than enough left over in your mortgage amount that you can buy your dream hot tub and get your dream couch for your home? And what if up?"
yeah,
And all of a sudden it changes their perspective. And then now you've just made beautiful impact.
exactly. And what if up?
Yeah.
What if? And this, this is what ties in beautifully, because really, again, what we're talking about is changing perspective. Um, And when we can change perspective like that, then guess what? There is a dream possibility. There is a
Hmm.
vision possibility. There is a different way of looking at it. And thank goodness, there is that other factor, in play of having the unknown. And instead of being afraid of the unknown, looking at it like, hmm, maybe I don't see all the possibilities.
Yeah.
And what if I'm just open to that?
Hmm. Oh, that reminds me, Joelle, you're going to love this. Okay. I had this counselor one time as I was going through a messy divorce. He was very abusive. That's a story for another time, but it was awful, the things that had been done to me and my son. And I'm sitting there across from her and she was very blunt. I loved it because she was like a no bullshit woman. She was just like, this is how it is. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get up off of that freaking chair and go work your ass off and get where you want to be because he doesn't matter. He's in the past. But what she said to me, and she goes, look at this tissue box. Now, this isn't a tissue box, but this is what she said to me. She holds up this tissue box. She goes, Tanisha, this is how you're seeing it right here. But did you know you could turn it and you could see it from here?
Mm,
Or you could turn it again and you can see it from here or here or here or on an angle and you could see both sides. She said, you are seeing it black and white, one
yeah.
way, one spot on a tissue box, when there are several other ways that you could be looking at this. And when you decide to choose to change the way you're looking at it, you have then just empowered yourself and you can fight your way out of it. And I was like, a tissue box. That's a pretty good one.
That's a really good one. Yeah, and those simple examples, but they're so potent and so
Hmm.
powerful. You know,
They are.
most of the time when I look back on it and when I've had these in the box moments or these limitations, the other part is guess what? They're self-imposed.
Hmm. They are.
Just because you're in a certain situation doesn't mean that's the only possibility, which is exactly what you're speaking to. And good for you that that impacted you like that, so that you did see the possibilities. Because as soon as we do that, as soon as we change the mindset, as soon as we change our perspective, all things
All
open up,
things open up. Hmm.
other doors
Yeah.
open
Yeah.
that we didn't even realize there was a door. And
Sometimes
so
it feels like a brick wall, right?
it does. Yeah. So the beauty of that, I'm kind of taken back to, miracles can happen in any moment, because
Hmm.
that is miraculous when you can make that change, in your thinking pathway.
Yeah.
Magic happens.
Miracles happen every day. Every
Yeah.
day. And that is something that people need to be aware of is our words are magic. What we tell ourselves and what we tell others impacts us greatly because it's called spelling for a reason. It's magic. What we speak is actually magic. If you tell yourself you're going to have a shit day and you're going to trip over that sidewalk, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But if you tell yourself that you're going to have a beautiful day, you're going to meet some amazing people, and you're going to have a winning attitude, your day is going to be exactly that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've been telling myself I'm going to win the lottery for the last 15 years, and it hasn't happened yet. So, I mean, but I say yet because it's still going to happen. But that's not what I'm saying. Like, you can't just speak the lottery into existence. But what I'm saying is you speak your energy into existence.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to keep speaking the lottery into existence, but
Absolutely. Don't you stop, girl. Don't you stop that at all. And
twelve million six hundred fourteen thousand $250.56.
oh, I love it. She's got the number. She's got the number. And just remember, the more specific and the more you feel that, I mean, you're bringing that. experience that by your magnetic beingness to you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what's really exciting for me. This profession has been such a journey of personal development and self-discovery, and
Hmm.
I'm just so grateful, each and every day that it found me, I found it, however that came to be. I really looked at going through the pandemic as a, at that point, a negative thing. Like, I just wasn't sure what it all meant. And now looking back on it, I think for myself, it was a reset. It was an
Oh.
adjustment. Hmm. And
Mm.
it was an ability for me to step out of what I was doing, going Monday to Friday, um, being an employee, doing the things I thought I should be doing, instead of actually, like, let's grab this life by the horns and ride it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So,
And
so you have experienced a lot of growth from something that was negative.
seemingly negative, and I know, like, I know right now, I've had conversations with people, there is a lot of craziness that is going on in the world. There's a lot of craziness on the news. There's a lot of upheaval. There's a lot of people struggling.
Yeah.
But what I do know in my life, and I'm sure you will likely agree with this, Tanisha, is that anytime that I've had those kind of struggles, on the other side
Mhm.
of that was a completely different life perspective, and I had so much growth in character, in wisdom. There's just an allowance for ourselves that we need when we're going through those time frames, and to have some
Mhm.
patience as well. you know
Yes.
Step into the places that are uncomfortable,
Mhm.
because that's where we're really really going to find the magic in it all.
Yeah.
And this sounds a bit maybe childish or naive, but ultimately I want people to be happy. I want them to enjoy their life, and if in
Yeah.
some way I can be a part of that, then I know that I've lived my life with purpose.
That's incredible. And yes, I 100% agree, Joelle. And that doesn't sound childish or naive to me. That sounds like you have hit a place in your own experience, this physical experience that we're having, that you are starting to resonate and vibrate on a different frequency, and we are going through those seemingly tough times to be challenged to see if we're ready for the next level,
Yeah.
or are we going to stay stuck.
Yeah.
These are challenges to overcome so that we can have that joy, that abundance, that peace, that love, that connection on the other side of it.
Hmm.
Growth is powerful, people. And I also took one more thing away from that is, you know what? Let's stop watching the news. It is television for a reason. They are telling their vision of events and they want to program what you're watching so that you feel that fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
Let's change that. Let's be the change.
Yeah. And I stopped watching it a long time ago,
Me too.
just based on that, because of how I felt with watching it. And I think there's a lot of confusing and mixed messages. Just like you said, it's somebody else's um, version of potentially what's going on, and everyone also has their filters about how they're seeing it and how it's making
Mhm.
them feel. And so, there's a lot of potential to feel bad there. And I think one of the biggest things that's probably changed for me is having self-supportive language. So instead
Mm.
of, biting into the critical voices, to say, hey, that's okay. This works. This I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you works within our own beingness.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
one thing for sure, Tanisha, that I know, I would never have said those kind of things to other people,
Yeah.
but I was willing to say it to myself. And so this is,
Mhm.
you know, this gives me the opportunity to breathe a lot more freely
Mm.
and to say it's okay. And we're gonna, we're gonna have some wins, maybe small wins, maybe big wins. Maybe we're gonna have a day where we take a step backwards, but what that offers, just like the archer, is an opportunity to pull the bow back, and then from there gain some extra special momentum.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm actually speechless after that, which is hard to do, Joelle. Very hard. Make Tanisha speechless. She talks a lot. She loves it. She loves to share.
Yeah, so we love what she has to share.
You know what that is? That's so, that really hit me. Like, why I wouldn't talk to anybody else the way that I've talked to myself in the past.
No. So why do we do
That
it?
makes me emotional. Why do we do that? Why do we beat ourselves up?
Yeah. And if you're willing to, walk with me a little bit on that concept,
Mhm.
is that by speaking to ourselves that way, it actually creates a limitation. It's another
Mhm.
box.
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not feel our light? Why not feel the potential that we have, and the powerful beingness that we have within ourselves? I mean, I don't know exactly what that looks like going ahead, but I know I feel a lot better when I'm able to say, "Hey, that's okay. That was interesting. Didn't see that coming, but now I do." And I forgive myself. I love myself. Thank you. I'm grateful. I see what I needed to see from that, and let's move forward. And
Mhm.
next time, I'm going to maybe attempt to try this instead. I think it'll work better. And so that was one of the things I learned from a coach that I worked with, was the self-supporting, um, self-talk, instead of diminishing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, is it like, I think because like the way we're raised and society has had that influence, that it makes it easier to be self-sabotaging with your
totally,
language. Like,
totally.
because my experience growing up was, you needed to look a certain way, fit clothes this way, don't I love my dad, please don't take this the wrong way, but he would make jokes about thunder thighs, and it was just joking. He wasn't being mean, but it came across, he would say that, and then that would hit me, and then I'd start to talk about myself that way, and it was so much easier than standing up to it and saying, no, no, I don't, that's not okay. I'm beautiful, I'm happy, I'm I'm capable of greatness. Learning to be able to stand up and say that was really hard. It was a challenge.
Hmm.
So I feel like it's easier for people to just go, "Oh, yeah, no, you don't have to get up and go for that walk. That's not good for you." It was
Yeah,
easier to talk yourself out of something than to talk yourself into something.
that's it. Completely. And this is the importance of the self-awareness piece and the healing piece, is because we're affecting our environment when we're not self-aware, and we're coming from filters that maybe have been our own pain points in the past. And what comes
Mhm.
across potentially as maybe a joke, uh, or a comment, or like, really, how much does it really impact people when you have road rage?
Mm.
And that's, all those things are kind of discounted, but in fact you are affecting the energetic field. You are, and you're affecting
You are.
yourself.
Yep.
So it's a matter of, I think, that next level of really taking a deep dive into what's happening within me. Why am I responding the way that I'm responding? Why do I feel like I need to react to that?
Yes.
instead of just taking a breath and a moment and like going through it. And maybe it doesn't have to do with you,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you've taken the time to do the reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
And
what we're
that,
taught too, right, Tanisha, about
yeah,
being curious with people, because really we don't know exactly where they're coming from. We don't know their story fully.
yeah.
And by giving them that space and also our own space to ask the
Mm-hmm.
curiosity questions, then, we're going to learn more.
Yeah, that's right. Get curious with yourself. Big nugget. I hope you guys took that away from what Joelle just said. Get curious with yourself. Why is this emotion coming up? Why am I feeling this way? What can I do to fix it? What can I do to change it in the future? And, also on the flip side of that, ask yourself some positive questions. Why am I going for a walk every day? Why am I having a smile on my face? What's making me happy right now so that I can increase that in my day to day? So, if getting out and sitting in the sunshine for 10 minutes and just having a gratitude moment is making you feel happy and healthy, well, ask yourself why. What about it is changing and making an impact so that you can create more of that? Because if you
Mm,
answer your own questions, you can create more.
beautiful. I love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to end on this note. We are going long today because we have just so much to say to everybody. Um, you know, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you and we find gratitude in helping you to get through things, or maybe you're going to hear something. It's the what if up game, what if something we say on here impacts somebody's life? And that's why we're here today. Um, and Joelle said it earlier, business and personal, like professional and personal, doesn't have to be separate. And what we do, it's for both. Okay. So whether you're listening today because you are on Joelle's social media or on mine, or you just came across us, if you would like help professionally, we are in financial services. We do a whole bunch of financial planning. You can reach out to us and ask us what that is and how that may look for you, because we do want to impact you, both personally with you know, our energy and helping you to see prosperity in your day to day, but we also want to impact people in allowing them to have that safe space to dream again. And a lot of times in society, it's difficult to do that right now. And so reach out to us. We're here to help. We're here to make that impact on your lives. And I really truly believe that if you take that step to send Joelle a message or to send myself a message, that's the first step in changing your life. So please reach out. We're here. Listen to our podcasts. Okay. Because there's some great information and you might just hear something. What if it's something that you hear that changes your entire life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great message, Tanisha.
Yeah. So thank you again, Joelle, so much for being my co-host today. Um, I feel like we are going to have Joelle on a few more times in the near future. She has just such beautiful insights, and she works so hard at making sure that she creates that safe space for her clients. So if you are someone that is watching this and you know Joelle, please reach out to her. She is just a beautiful person inside and out, and she will make that impact for you as much as she possibly can. She will fight for you. She will be in your corner, and she'll be cheering you on. So reach out, subscribe, follow, listen. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much, Joelle, for your time today.
My pleasure, Tanisha. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome.